Whoa, I'm back for another video. You thought I was lying, but your boy's back to regular uploads. Welcome back, everyone, and I'm so glad to be here to tell you a story today. Part of this story does take place quite a while ago, actually, but the conclusion happened recently. And, you know, I just thought it was such a good story, and it's just something that needs to get told. So without further ado, let's get into the story. So the year is 2013. I had just graduated high school, and, you know, I was getting to that point in life where, you know, a bird flies off out of the nest. And this time of my life was really great because I just remember this summer after high school, I was with my family a lot, and we were having a lot of fun. I was working for my dad for the company he owned at the time, and it was just overall a really great time as I look back on it. Like, if you asked me during that time, I would have said it sucked, but now looking back, it was quite a wonderful time. However, part of what made it so wonderful is the camaraderie that me and my brothers and my father had, and this story revolves around me and my father. So in a previous story, you may have known a little bit about how my mother is. So in this story, you're going to be able to get a little taste of my daddy-o. Sorry, Dad, but I think you'll appreciate this one. So one thing that me and my dad and my brothers did all growing up is we would always try and scare each other beyond all measure. We'd be hiding around dark corners when the lights are off, and we'd be, you know, hiding behind their bed and just waiting for them to get all snug and nice and rested for the night, and we'd jump out and scare them. It's quite a brutal thing when you think about it, that this evil thing that we do to each other, but it's so satisfying when we get to scare each other. And scaring and pranks in general, actually. One of the things that I thought was pretty clever, I can't remember where I heard this. I'm not completely original in this, but it's this trick that you play on people, and I'm letting you guys in on it, so I will take credit for it if you want. But so the prank goes that you would say to your friend or a family, hopefully a friend, hopefully you're not doing this to your parents like I did, because it was a bad idea. So you go to a friend, right, and you said, "Hey, let's have a competition." And your friend's like, "Okay, well, okay, what is it?" And you say, "Okay, we're gonna see who can punch each other the softest." And naturally, your friend or your acquaintance even is gonna be like, "Okay, like." You always want to make sure the person that you're doing the prank on goes first, right? So you want to say like, okay, you go first, you punch me, and they always just go like super soft. They're slowly going in. It's like they're getting ready for the big bang to happen, and yet there's no explosion, and boom, that's it. That's all they do, right? And then you say, okay, my turn, and then all you do is just sock them right in the arm or face or whatever. So here's the thing. Don't do this to your dad. Because when I did it to my dad, I thought I was just so clever, and I was like, man, my dad can take a hit. He's a champ. He can do it. And then I was like expecting him to just be okay. Well, that's the end of it. He says, "No, it's my turn now." No, Daddy, no! I quickly ran away, and he said, "Okay, don't worry about it, but I'll get you back one day. One day I'll get you back," he says, and he got me back. He got me back pretty good. So years go by, right? It's now the year 2020. It has been 7 years. You'd think a man of his age would forget this kind of thing, but he didn't. He waited quietly, patiently, like a lion hunting a gazelle that punched the lion. Turns out his idea of getting back at me wasn't physical at all, really. It was more of the mental game. He made me wait a long time for this, like I said. One day, relatively recently, he asks if he could just borrow my car, and I say, well, I mean, you have your own car, but that's okay. Like, you can use my car. I'm not going to tell my own father he can't drive my car. That would just be weird. So he goes off to whatever he's going to do, and it's about an hour passes by, and I hadn't heard back from him. And then, as you know, while I'm in school right now, I'm back to living with my parents for the time being, and my mother comes up on the phone with my dad, and she says, "Hey, where's your registration? Where's all your information in your car?" I'm like, "It should be in the glove compartment, like you normally keep that kind of thing." She says, well, it's not there. I'm like, well, why do you need it? And she's like, pointing to her phone, she's on the phone with my dad, and she's like, your dad just got in a car accident. And I'm like, well, that sucks. I kind of casually am like, all right, well, it's in there, but if not, I'll look for the stuff and I'll get back to you. She said, well, they're about to tow your car, and so you need that information right now. And I'm like, kind of breaking this down, like, this doesn't really add up, but you never think someone's gonna make a joke about a situation this important. And then I ask him, like, hey, is Dad okay? And she's like, well, he's shaking up. He's talking to the police. He's talking to the person he hit. He hit a big semi. And at that point, I'm like, oh, crap. Like, my mom wouldn't joke about this. My mom is a very fun and great person to be around and laughable. But to joke about my father getting in a car accident, that would be wrong, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? So we're sitting on the couch and we're talking about this while we're waiting for the response call, because apparently, like, my dad said he had to go, and yeah, at this point I have to admit I was pretty sold, because my mom was stressed out. She was just all over the place. She's like, I can't afford you two getting so many car accidents. By the way, I've totaled my car last year. That's probably important information to know. And then I kind of, not gonna lie, I start to panic, and I said, oh my gosh, my car's gonna be totaled again. I totaled my car, and now my dad totals my new car, and I'm gonna get fired from my job because I can't drive to work, and I'm gonna just end up in no, I'm never gonna have a life again. So I wait patiently. I'm good. I have to admit, not to toot myself on the horn or pat myself on the back or something like that, I have to admit, I feel like I handled it pretty coolly. Like, while I was freaking out on the inside, I realized that because I haven't been given much, I too must let others something. There's a lesson here that I was trying to teach myself. So I just wait, and I wait. About half an hour goes by, and I start to panic a little bit more, and more, and more. Then I'm thinking, okay, well, I gotta break the news to my boss. You just gotta leave the job, I guess. And then I see it out the window as I was sitting on the couch in the living room. I see my car driving into the driveway. Perfectly fine. Nobody got in a wreck. I stressed out for nothing. And I just have this look of disappointment on my face. You know the look that your parents give you when you're past curfew? I gave that back to my parents for the first time in my life, and I was kind of proud of myself for being able to pull off that look. I'm just sitting by the door. All right. Tell me. Why'd you think that was funny? Huh? Do you know how worried I was about you? It just triggered my inner mom, the inner piece of me that always wanted to give that back to my parents whenever I was remotely late or anything happened on my end. And my dad just smiles at me and he's laughing. He thinks it's so funny. He thinks he's the greatest genius of comedy that ever walked the earth. And he said, hey, remember that time about 7 years ago? I told you I'd get you back. Well, that day is now. Consider yourself got, son. Good one, Dad. Good one.